This video is going to explain how to place the waypoints at the right distance in an intersection in an Illusion Trails world. Okay, this is an intersection that I've just finished. You can see how close, these are waypoints. You can see how close they are together. That's how close they need to be together. Here are the paths that lead up to the intersection. You can approach this intersection from 3 different ways, which is how most of them are. But a 4-way intersection is done the same way. Okay, that's just what we're working towards. And I'll show you how we got there. Oh, I may not have made it clear. Eventually we have to do all of these paths with the waypoints at the same distance also. So they haven't been done yet. I'm just working on intersections now. I'm going to finish this tutorial while I work on the next intersection.
Well, I imagine that we can return.
This is an intersection I haven't started yet. You'll notice that the bottom part of this project, I'm not even recording. We don't need to go down there at all. It's already set up the way you'll need to do it. We will be using the hierarchy on this side. We'll be selecting a path and the waypoints. And every time you select something in the hierarchy, such as this path here, which is not one on the screen, then that path shows up over here. Don't be daunted. We won't be using very much of this. We'll be using this plus sign on the very bottom to add a new waypoint. We'll be using this place to ground to make the waypoints go to ground, to make them all go to ground. And you'll see what we mean by that in a minute. And we'll occasionally be entering some numbers up here, but don't worry about that yet. But all the rest of it, the colors and stuff, we won't be doing anything with unless we want to change the color. These colors just change the dots against the background so you can see them, but they're pretty obvious even on the light background. They're more obvious on the shadows, but I think we're fine here. Okay, let's begin. The first thing that we do is select a path, and you have to get right on it and click up, and that's what you want. When all of the waypoint numbers show up, then you've selected a path. Next step is to go over here and hit place to ground. Well, first, let me go over here in the hierarchy, and let's find the path. It highlights for you. When you select a path over here on the screen, it will show you where it is in the hierarchy. And there it is, and we can open it up. These are just regular open up buttons. And there's the waypoints, 6 of them, a start waypoint and an end waypoint. And they're also indicated over here. Now, the start may be at the bottom or the top or the left or the right, but they will always progress in order from the start to the end. So, to find the start waypoint, you just click on it over here in the hierarchy, and poof, there it is. That's the waypoint. That's the start of this path right here that we're going to be working on. Okay, let's go back to the title of this path, which is intersection 120A. That's the name of this little path, not the whole area. And we're going to go over to the inspector. With the path selected, we're going to place to ground. Now watch what these waypoints do when I click place to ground. Okay, they get a little fainter. That's because half of them are buried in the ground, and that's a good visual indicator to tell you that you're doing the right thing. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to leave the start waypoint. This one, I collected start. There it is right there. We're going to leave it where it is. And we're going to move all these other waypoints up here so that we can just add them one at a time and build this. And to move a waypoint, all we do is select it. I'm going to go over to the hierarchy here, select the next waypoint. There it is. grab in the green box that shows up. Make sure it's the green box. It should be the only one. And then just drag it and kind of place it near the waypoint. It's not critical. Don't have to get in there with your magnifying glass and say, oh my God, am I a 64th or a 32nd? Just get it kind of close. All right. And then we go over here in the hierarchy to the next waypoint. We go down, and there it is. And we pull it. Now, here's the tricky part. We're not making a straight line. We're trying to make that same curve. So this is where a little bit of artsy skill comes in that you'll slowly get. Okay, over in the hierarchy, I'm taking the next waypoint. There it is, and pull it down, kind of keeping my curve. That curve might be curving too fast. So imagine walking down here, and you want both this end to flow, and you want this end to flow. So I'm going to move that up a tiny bit more, I guess. Right there, I might be being too picky. Okay, over to the hierarchy, we select the next waypoint. There it is. And pull it down. Continue our almost straight line for now. And now we go over to the hierarchy, and there's the waypoint end. Now, we don't want to move it. It's going to stay stationary. Both the start and the end are kind of like cornerstones. We build on them. All right. Now, I can't show you the piece of paper I have. Wish I could. Hold on. Okay. Get a scrap piece of paper or a notebook or whatever you want to do, and draw a quick little picture of your intersection. You can see that's what I've done here. Don't worry about where the waypoints are. This isn't for the waypoints. This is for the waypoint start and end numbers. Okay, going over to the hierarchy. We're at waypoint end on this path. If we, let me move this down. Okay, if we go over here, this whole inspector is about this one waypoint that we're on right now. This waypoint here, all of this information. What we want to do is, you know what? Probably safest. Let me go over here and do this first. Let's select the whole path. You select the whole path by going to its title. There it is. They're bunched up here, but that's still the path. Let's place to ground one more time. Okay, it's changed slightly, but not much. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to select the waypoint start. Doesn't matter which one we do first. Well, let's do the waypoint end first, because I have it on my little piece of paper here. Okay, here's the number for it. We have to make all three of the start and end points match exactly right on top of each other. Here's a path here, and here's a little short intersection path, and here's another intersection path. So those three paths have to share the same point, and that's how the movement in Unity works. Okay, here are the X, Y, Z coordinates of the point that we are on right now. We're going to make all three go to that same thing, so we're going to write down this number so we don't forget it. So, bringing my little piece of paper up here again. I'm at this one at the top, and I'm putting my number up at the top. I'm going to simplify it too. Doesn't need to be that. We can move it left or right a little bit without it causing too much chaos, because these are very finite, very tiny movements. Okay, so it looks like the real number I want is negative 184, negative 32. I hope you can see what I'm looking at. And negative 536. Okay, that's the top number. Now, to get the other end of the path that we're on, and remember to select the path, going over to the hierarchy, select the title, What did I do? Hierarchy, select the title. There it is. And we want this end. Oh, that's the one we just did. We want the start now. Okay. And the start is over on this side. So I'm going to select text again. I'm going to go over here. And once again, I'm going to go up in the inspector. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough. This is called the inspector. It shows the details of the item selected both on the screen and over here in the hierarchy. Okay, going back to the inspector, the X, Y, and Z coordinates. We're going to round these off here. They're not the same as the ones we just did because we're in a different part, but we're going to round them off. Now this world is relatively flat. This is the Sand City. And so this Y coordinate is the up and down, like the elevation. And practically the whole city is at -32. So that makes it easy. You won't find that in other, especially mountainous worlds. Okay, so we're at 196. I'm sorry, a negative 196. That's very important. Negative 196, negative 32, negative 521. Okay. And we're going to put that piece of paper aside. I can see how that moved us. When I rounded it off, it moved that down a little bit. I believe that's this number. I may change that to 22. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's better. That's higher, but let's put that there. So we're going to change that number to 22. It's closer to the spot we want. All right. Now, don't lose your piece of paper, but you can put it aside for a while because we're going to move these points. As you can see, the ones that we've slid down now need moved. We knew that was going to happen. Let's go to the second one. Let's bring it up. The third one, bring it up a little bit. And the fourth one, so that they kind of make a nice little curve off of that waypoint that we set. Now, remember, we've already set this waypoint up here, so that's good, and that's our target. Okay, now this has all been kind of a setup. Now we're going to go to the tedious part that will occupy 99.9% of your time and will drive you crazy. We're going to slowly add these and build the line up here. And here's how we do it. We select the title of the path we're on. That gives us this inspection readout of all of the points in here. We don't care about any of the other points, and we don't care about numbers now. All we want to do is hit this plus sign on the bottom waypoint, not the waypoint end, because there is no plus sign, but on the bottom waypoint where there's a plus sign, you click it. Now, it'll look like it highlighted the last one in the line, but that's because it duplicated it. Grab it and move it off of there. Ah, there was two there. And now you can see the one you're going to move. All right, and that's the full thing. All right, so one more time. We go back. We select intersection. We go to the inspector. We go to the bottom plus sign. We click it. Okay, it's duplicated on top. We move it up here a little bit. Okay, that one's done. Back to the hierarchy, and we'll do one more. Back to the inspector, bottom plus, and move it up. Now, what you also might do every once in a while is Go to the inspector. At this point, you might hit place to ground again. We don't really need to in here, but in other ones you might need to because the ground is very uneven. So I'm not going to bother now. Okay, I'm going to pause now and come back and show you the ending. Okay, as you can see, I've added a number of them, and now it's a little hard to see. If you need to, you can zoom in by rolling the mouse wheel. This might be different on your mouse. And let me check the waypoint end. Here's the waypoint end. It's up here. I'll explain that in a minute. How close are we? Oh, we're very close to it. Oh, I didn't realize. They're almost on top of each other. Okay. I'm going to delete this one. And the way we do that is select the entire path, go down to the very bottom one, and instead of duplicating it, hit the minus sign. And now you'll see that we had 21, now we have 20. So let me go to the end, the next to the end, I'm sorry. And I'm going to, just for convenience, the actual order over here in the hierarchy of these doesn't matter, but I like to keep it the same as it is over here in the inspector, which is the way that it will process. Okay, so there's the end. This corner is actually where it is. And if I go to the next to the end, over in the hierarchy, select next to the end, it's right here. I'm just going to kind of average that space out. All right, there's next to the end. Let me go down here and pick the end. Yeah, and that's pretty close. Okay, and there's our number on our end that we had before over in the inspector. Minus 184, minus 32, minus 536. Let me bring my piece of paper back in. Minus 184, minus, yeah, because we haven't moved it. We've just been adding all these. All right, that's good. Now we are going to work on another one. So let's come back out a little bit. I'll just start this one. Okay, let's pick this one here. This path, and let me click on it. Yep, and I got it. Okay, and over here in the hierarchy, it lights up as down here. Let's close this one. We don't need it. Here's the one, the path that we're working on now. And let's go to Waypoint Start. All right, remember I told you all of the key points, the starts and ends sometimes have to match up. So the Waypoint Start on this path is not an even number, so we haven't, it's not rounded off. So let's go over here, and we're going to set this location, rather than moving it around with this green box, to this number directly. All right, minus 196. There it is. Minus 32. And minus 522. And I just realized I forgot to place to ground. Would have been a good idea. Okay, this path here, let me do it again. All right, there's the path we're working on. Let me go over here to the inspector, hit place to ground. There they go. Now they became a little fadier because half of them is buried in the ground now. So this also placed our waypoint 1 to an exact position that we don't want. So let's go back and do it again. The Waypoint Start over here. Let me bring in my piece of paper. There it is. Minus 184. Sorry, my piece of paper disappears. I know it's minus 32. I remember that part. And the last number is minus 522, which is what we have. So, whoops. It jumped way over here. That's an indicator that I've done something wrong. Oh, I set the first number to the wrong thing. It's supposed to be 196. Okay. See, my waypoint jumped way over here. It was supposed to be lining up with one of these, the correct one here. And that's how I know I did something wrong. Minus 196. Yeah, let's go back here. Change it to minus 196. There we go. And that then is perfectly lined up on this one here. This one over here that you can faintly see is in the wrong position, but that's not our fault. We haven't got to that. That's part of this path. We'll take care of that too. All right, so let's see the path. Let's go to the path title. There it is. And we've already placed it to ground. We've set that. So what is the next step? It is to move all of these little waypoints up close to each other and trying to make a curve, the beginnings of a curve. So I'll move that one there. Go over here, pick in the hierarchy, pick the next waypoint, go into the screen, move it up there, over to the hierarchy, the next waypoint, into the screen, move it up here. Not a very good curve, but it'll work. Skip. We can move that down now. Doesn't matter. Go to the next waypoint. Yeah, right there. That's the only one we haven't moved yet. We're going to set the waypoint in to a specific spot. Remember that. Okay, move this one up here. All right, now we go to our waypoint end. And remember, we want them to be nice, even numbers so that we can use them over. I'm going to have to bring that up a tiny bit so you can see it. Okay. All right, and there's what the number is now. It needs rounded off. Text. Okay, looking up here, let's make this minus 184. Let's try 183. I didn't, because it moved this way. Yeah, let's make it 183. That's closer to where it is. We'll keep our standard minus 32 for the elevation. And now for the up and down, let's, since it's a 0.5, we could go either way. Let's see which way that goes. Ah, that's perfect. Okay, there's our numbers for this waypoint end on this path. And this is going to be the same number we're going to use for this waypoint of this other path and for the waypoint of the long path that comes to here. So let me enter them in on my piece of paper. Minus 183. Minus 183 space. Right. Minus 32 and minus 510. All right, now we have all 3 points of this intersection on our piece of paper. So we can continue and finish this path. What do we do first? We go to the hierarchy. We pick the title of the path so that we get the whole thing. And when we get the whole thing, that means we're getting all of the waypoints, and we can click the plus sign. Plus, bring that one around. Go back into the hierarchy to the title of the path. Hit plus sign. If this doesn't go away and you don't see a green box, you didn't hit the plus sign correct. Okay, there we go. And we're coming around. I don't know if I have enough curve. You know what? I'm going to stop and fix it right here. I think I'd rather be somewhere way over here. Take that. And this is just art here. This is just your eye thinking that's a lousy curve I'm making. So something that you'll get a hang of as you go along. That's just like drawing a curved line on a straight piece of paper. You look at it and you think, no, that's more of a straight line than it is a curve between those 2 points. So, okay, and go back here, pick the bottom plus mark, and we're moving along. And I think that's probably enough for now. Yeah, if I can think of anything else, I'll make another video.